What is
What
going
is
on,
up,
everybody?
people?
Welcome back to another episode of the All Star Sports Show. We got some interesting stuff we're gonna be talking about this week. Some other stuff that I don't have in my notes, but I want to go over them anyways. But before we get to it, if you guys make sure you hit that like button, also hit that subscribe button, and make sure you ring that notification bell. With all that being said, we're gonna go with a quick little recap. We're not going to go into it too much in depth for last week's slate of NFL games. Even though there was some good and there was just some bad and some crazy ones in between. Let's get the ugly duckling out of the way. The Thursday night football, the Tank Bowl, as most people would put it, the Chicago Bears and the Panthers.
A lot of people fell asleep by the second quarter, third quarter. Pretty boring.
That's
Both teams tried to lose because they're trying to tank, and that just makes for boring football. And I hated it, and everybody hated it. So I'd very much rather not talk anymore about this game.
Bears go 3 and pick up the win, 16-13, and
again, like I said, even with that scoreline, Rob, both teams were trying to lose, and it was a boring.
Second game on the and that's in the stretch of games was the other Germany game, the Colts and the Patriots.
Jesus Christ!
What the hell was that all about?
Mac Jones is whacking like you and Key and everybody else says. Mac Jones is whacking cheese. He's whacking cheese. Honestly, emphasis on the whack part.
To be quite honest, I expected more than 10 points from the Colts because I think the Colts are the kind of team, they're not that great, but they can also put up at least more than 10 points a game. I'm sorry, but that's the lowest I ever
seen. Both teams played bad, but I feel like the Patriots played exceptionally worse because Mac Jones ain't that guy. He ain't.
Nope. And the fact that you already lost Jack Jones to the Raiders courtesy of the waiver wire. Yeah.
Here's the thing with that. Both Joneses suck, Daniel. Both Joneses suck. I know it's a joke, but yeah, both. It's kind of ironic that two teams that drafted a guy with the last name Jones, both guys suck. Both guys suck.
Now, the one you got to give at least Mac Jones some credit for being durable. Daniel Jones has been nothing but injury prone mostly this year, anyways.
But both guys are susceptible to turnovers.
And yeah.
And it's terrible.
But another game we got, the Browns, the Raiders. I was pissed a little bit. I picked the Ravens. I picked
the Ravens too. I didn't expect the. I think I picked the Ravens. I'm not sure. I think I did, but yeah, honestly I didn't expect this backup to be better than freaking Deshaun Watson.
Speaking of Deshaun Watson, for those who are not living under a rock, he's done for the year. Broke his shoulder. Hey.
Now, me praying on this guy's failure, and honestly, this is the one guy that you can laugh when he's injured. Guy's an asshole. The guy's an asshole.
Pretty much everyone's praying on this dude's downfall.
Everybody's praying on his downfall because of what he did and got himself suspended for an entire season.
What's funny about that is
the guy's an asshole.
Terrible trade, worst trade for the Browns, but a good trade for the Texans, who, well,
like I looked. I saw like a picture on Facebook where I think it was like CBS or somebody, CBS Sports or Fox Sports, or whatever, posted it, and it was like Deshaun Watson for 4 or 5 first round draft picks. I'm like, yo, Houston fleeced the hell out of them.
And and what's fun? Speaking
of, if it wasn't for the Deshaun Watson trade, they would have gotten CJ Stroud.
CJ Stroud would have been a Cleveland Brown, easy. But then again,
so they basically traded Deshaun Watson for a Rookie of the Year candidate and an MVP candidate.
Pretty much.
That's fleece. That's a fleece if you ask me. That's a fleece.
And we'll get to the Houston.
I agree with Daniel. I agree with Daniel. Stroud over Watson any day.
And Tara, we talked about this last year with the Ravens. The biggest nitpick, and Tara can attest to this too, the biggest nitpick I've always had with the Ravens They somehow choke in the fourth quarter. I don't know what it is with the Ravens in the fourth quarter. It seems the biggest bugaboo with them.
But here's the thing, though, Rob. They did it for like more than half the season last year, and that's how they missed the playoffs. Because every time they built a lead, they always choked it away in the fourth quarter. That more than half of the season last year.
Admit that the Ravens went healthy is a playoff team. Now that's the biggest key word, healthy. And at least at this, finally, actually have a healthy season. And granted, look, they're 7-3. You really can't complain much about that.
But they had a good record last year. Going into like the later weeks, and then they started blowing leads because of injuries, and I think they went like 8-9 last year and missed the playoffs because of it.
Yeah,
they made the playoffs actually.
Yeah, I think the Ravens actually made the playoffs, but they were an early. It was an early exit.
Oh wait, I'm talking about the year before that, not last year. Never, my mistake. Yeah, they actually made the playoffs last year because they were actually healthy last year. But I'm talking about the year before. The year before they were dog water like halfway through the season, and they went 8-9. Dude. I'm forgetting years and like.
Yeah,
that was 2021. I'm talking about, not 2022. They actually didn't make the playoffs. Thanks for correcting me, Arku. I appreciate it.
But yeah, I mean, the Browns. Look, I was gonna say too. I really like what the
Daniel. That is like, dude, Daniel. I gotta say something right quick. That is like the worst, like mismanaging of like a diss. Because Arku literally has an OKC Thunder profile pic.
Because Arku is a Mazda Thunder fan.
Yeah.
But moving on.
I'm sorry, Daniel, but I'm siding with Arku here. That was like a poorly done this there.
Currently with a 6-3 record puts them at right now currently second or tied for second, I would say, for another team that I don't know about the Steelers, but we'll get to the Steelers in just a second.
The Steelers are getting carried by good coaching by
that defense is
by Tomlin. They're getting carried by Tomlin.
And that defense.
And the defense. Because Tomlin, as much as you dogged on him all season, he's a really good coach. The problem is their offensive coordinator is trash.
And I think they're going to go right through that bugaboo where when Big Ben retired, they're going to have a hard time. They're going to have a hard time because I don't think Kenny Pickett's the guy. Quite honestly, in my honest opinion, the way we've seen it. But then again, I'll say give like another. I don't know. I don't want to even give another year because who knows if they ever do fire Matt Canada, which I don't know if that's going to happen.
If they make the playoffs, with this shitty offense. Then he's not fired.
That's an early first round. I think the Steelers, if they do somehow make the playoffs, they're in an
all
early
I'm
first
gonna
round.
All I'm going to say is, if they make the playoffs, prepare for their game to be a blowout loss. Just be prepared. Yeah, that offense is just poor.
And I'm sorry. I like Najee Harris. I think he's a solid back with him. And
they have a good core. They got Pickens. At wide out, they got good receiver core. Deontay Johnson, Kenny Pickett. I see flashes of brilliance from Kenny Pickett, but the problem is the offense.
They stink.
The offensive coordinator is just making plays that you would see in Madden.
Speaking of offensive coordinators, Ken Dorsey finally gets fired. Before we go back into our little quick recap,
I want to talk about this. Yeah, I want to talk about this for a minute. For a team that had Super Bowl aspirations going into the season,
after year, and they still find a way to fuck it all up.
Year after year after year, they have Super Bowl aspirations. Forget playoff aspirations. That's what happens. But I don't even think they even have that this year.
I want to say this too,
and also Daniel, that's a low blow, bro. That hurts. That stings. But anyway, we're only 8-2. But anyway, but for the Bills, man, like
Oh boy,
they had to fire that offensive coordinator. They had to fire Dorsey because we haven't seen any. We've seen somewhat of a progression from Josh Allen from like year 1 to year 2, and then it's just been a steady. It's just been a steady regression.
And quite honestly, now he's actually, I think he's now the league leader in turnovers. And that was the one thing too. I've got called a complete idiot because I've always said that Josh Allen is super reckless with the football. Like I have never seen a quarterback in this league ever so reckless.
Dude, it takes somebody. It doesn't take much to realize that.
You could see it from the eye test.
Like every other game, like dude, like he has a good game here, but here's the thing: he's not just reckless; he's like super inconsistent.
That's true as well.
Because you have one bad game where he's throwing like 2 picks, and then the next game he's throwing 2 touchdowns. It's like he's very careless with the football, like you're saying. It takes somebody with a set of eyes looking at a football game, a Bills football game, physically looking and seeing that.
I think there's another thing that too. I think a lot of people don't really point out too.
The game I went to, I physically saw it. He was completely inconsistent. Threw a pick on the first drive. The first play drive.
A lot of people some people have seen when Matt Milano went down with that season-ending injury, say with DaQuan Jones, that defense has not really been the same. You could see Von Miller hasn't done much to Damar Hamlin as much as a nice little comeback story. He hasn't really shown much at all. Like that.
I think he had like a tackle like after the guy got 5 yards, and like in crunch time when they basically were like when the Broncos were driving down the field last night. And I want to talk about that crazy ass game for a minute.
I expected it to be a boring ass game.
Bro, that's the thing. I expected a blowout win from the Bills. I'm like, yep, next Bills are winning. No.
Nope.
We got an upset. Wait. But here's how it happened, y'all. If you missed that game, if you went to bed early because it was a Monday night, people have work, people have school, right? So I was up watching this game, right? And what happened is the Broncos are driving down the field because of the Bills' shitty ass defense. Not gonna beat around the bush about that. Even though they got Von Miller, they're somehow still shitty.
Mm-hmm.
But they're driving down the field, and then they get in the field goal range. What I think it was like a minute or something left.
I think it was like at least 40-something seconds.
It was 40-something seconds because they had no timeout, so they had to do the whole switcheroo thing, or like speeding up the switch to the field goal unit.
Because they did that twice.
Teams unit. They did that twice. Made it earlier in the game. But this time they switched it, but they did it so fast. I think the kicker missed that on purpose. I think that was part of the game plan. But he shanks it to the right a little bit. Goes wide right. Next you know, flag goes down. Damar Hamlin's not supposed to be that 12 guy in there. It's supposed to only be 11 guys.
And yeah, that was
12 guys were in there. 12 guys were in there,
so to speak.
Yep. 12 guys were in there.
Funny enough,
and they got closer. They got to the point where it was a chip shot at this point.
Yeah,
I think they're at like the 25 now.
They're inside the 25 and
right up the middle. Walked it off 24-22.
And the last time fun fact, the last time the Broncos did that was back in 2007 over the Bills too. Same exact shit. 16 years ago. Did the exact same shit.
And also RQ, man, you know, that's how sports fans are. They troll each other. That's all right. But yeah, it's like that was the craziest ending that I've seen.
And trust me, I mean, because
we've seen dude, over the years, there's been some crazy Monday Night Football games.
Some good, some bad, and there's just some mind-boggling upsets.
Yeah. Like
case in point this year. And
case in point, the game that just passed.
And that brings me to my next question too. Is it time to hit the panic button on the Buffalo Bills? For me, I'm going to say it's a big fat yes for me. Just hit the red panic button.
Yeah.
Because right now,
because like RQ was saying, like RQ says, they are very fraudulent right now.
And that's
they're
the thing
very
too.
I agree, they're very fraudulent. Like,
sorry, RQ, but I've always said the Bills are the Cowboys of the AFC. They always have like Super Bowl aspirations, but they can never get it done.
Honestly, I think they're worse. You wanna know why? Because they had Super Bowl aspirations. I don't even think they're even gonna make the playoffs. Look at the rest of their schedule. A lot of hard games in that schedule.
It really isn't.
I think
the Jets.
I think they'll be lucky to even win one game. The rest of the schedule, they might go 6-11.
I see 7-10 if you're even that's
the ceiling. That's the ceiling. 7-10 for them. I don't see them making the playoffs. At least for the Cowboys, they actually make the playoffs. They just don't know how to win a game in the playoffs. For me, but for me, it's like the Bills. It's like they had that hot start. They didn't have a hot start. They were like inconsistent all season. But like now, it's like they're on the outside looking in. You have the Houston Texans over you in the standings in the playoff.
Talk about a team that's for a team that was a laughingstock for decades. If you think about it, gone through multiple coaching changes, guys like Bill O'Brien, and I know a lot of Texas fans want to forget about him, even though realistically, when you really look at what Bill O'Brien has done with the Houston Texans,
bro, even before that, man.
Oh, it's
completely screwing over David Carr in his career.
Punching bag is
completely screwed over David Carr, the most accurate college quarterback that I've seen, and he comes in and he can't even get a throw off. He's rushing throws because guess what? You don't have an offensive line, and that was like that for like 5 years. And then you have the league and the fans labeling him a bust when it was really the organization's fault.
Yeah,
it had nothing to do with David Carr. It had everything to do with that organization at that time. They completely ruined David Carr.
And David Carr pretty much, like I said, part of that too, unfortunately sets the record you do not want to set. Is the most sacks taken in a single season.
76.
Oh, boy. I felt
in one season. 76 sacks in one season.
Oh, boy.
That was his rookie 2002 campaign.
And
when he got sacked 76 damn times.
Yeah, but, oh, boy, that was something. But going back to our little quick recap of Week 10, you had the Browns coming out with a game-winning field goal against the Ravens, dropping them to 7-3 in the AFC North.
You had a 31 to what? 31. It was pretty much a blowout at that point.
Yeah, I don't know exactly this.
With 9 minutes left, and they came back, tied the game, and then won the game. With an insurmountable lead. You had an insurmountable lead that they probably could have not come back from with proper coaching and proper football play. But somehow you choked a big lead away with 9 minutes left in the fourth quarter.
Like, you had so much time to put that game on ice, and you couldn't do it.
Oh my god!
I'm sorry, but the Ravens. Look, I still think the Ravens are going to make the playoffs. That's kind of a given. But I don't think the Ravens are going to go as far as people are going to give them credit to, because, like I said, like we said, it's like history's going to repeat itself. Is the fact that no lead is at.
And I know I'm an Eagles fan, so I'm going to bring this up. I'm going to bring this up because I don't care. I'm an Eagles fan. This reminded me of 2010 against the Giants.
For fuck's sake. I won't forget about
when we came back from a 31-10 lead, from a 31-10 deficit.
Yeah, I think that was on Christmas Eve, wasn't it?
It was.
It was the day before.
On Christmas Eve. I think it was on Christmas Eve.
I think it might have been. Correctly. I think it may have been the day before Christmas Eve. I could be wrong.
It was the day before. It was. I think it was Christmas Eve.
Yeah, it was.
Or it might have been the day before. Yeah, it was Christmas Eve.
But all we can say is,
and we came back from a 31-10 deficit and won the game. That's what the Browns game reminded me of. That's what the Browns game reminded me of. Like, it's the holiday season. They're looking for a proverbial Christmas miracle type of game, and they did. They had it.
Yep.
Came back from that insurmountable lead and won the game. It wasn't a kick return touchdown like ours, but
I could imagine that most diehard Giants fans are probably, after that game, probably drove themselves to drink. You're
dude. I remember after that game. This is when I had just joined Facebook, like 2010, and all I'm seeing is fire Coughlin now. I'm like, huh?
Oh yeah, it's and
fire Coughlin. I'm like, Jesus.
Oh yeah, that's right. They won their second Super
Bowl. And Coughlin was their best coach.
Yeah.
Yeah, the next year they won a Super Bowl. I think we missed the playoffs.
What do we go? What, 8-9 that year, if I'm not mistaken, or 9-8?
No, they went 7 no. They went we went 8-8. They went 9-7. This is before. They added the game. This is when it was still 16 games. They went 9-7. We went 8-8. We just missed by a game because they won a game. We lost a game.
I'm trying to think who.
We lost that final game of the season. I think.
I'm trying to think who won the 2010 Super Bowl that year.
2010 Super Bowl, the Packers.
Oh yeah, the only Super Bowl and
the only Super Bowl they had. The Packers.
Oh, yeah.
It was the Packers. I think they were going against the.
I think who won the AFC that year too. That's.
Well, it's not. Wait, no.
God, who was the best team in 2010 to the AFC? It was the Chiefs for the longest time until prior to 2016 or 2017 or whatever. Patrick Mahomes got into the league. Oh, for the love of God,
it wasn't the Chiefs. It wasn't the Chiefs.
Oh, it's got to be. It's got to be the most obscure team that I'm
Oh
thinking
no! Oh wait, I know who it was. It was Packers Steelers.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that.
Packers Steelers 2010. Packers Steelers because they were the number one seed. They were the number one seed in the AFC.
Oh yeah, I completely forgot about it. I think they still had Troy Polamalu. I think they still had the bus that running one of their halfbacks or fullbacks.
Keep him away, yo. Keep him away from the damn C gap, or Pat McAfee's gonna crap himself. We're kicking the football. Polamalu's in C gap.
But moving on, we have another AFC matchup. The Texans and the Bengals. Texas coming out with a 3-point victory over the Cincinnati Bengals. That puts the Texans up. Puts the Texans up 5-4 first 9 games.
Yep, they're in the wild card spot. I think they got the final wild card spot right now. They're in the wild card spot.
I mean, as it stands, it is. Yep, it is the Texans.
Yeah, because they were out on the outside looking in until the Bills lost, and the Bills are kicked out of that wild card spot. And at 5-4, we have the Texans.
So when you look at the teams that are on the bubble, you have the Bengals at 5-4, the Colts sitting in the 9 spot, Bills at 10, the Raiders at 11, the Chargers 12, Jets 13, Broncos 14, which, well, I'm not really surprised, but I don't think the Broncos are going to make the playoffs, but I'd be shocked if they did, but I don't think they will. Titans 15, and then the measly Patriots at 2-8, sitting at the 16th spot. Boy, talk about it. I will say,
how the mighty have fallen, because they were dominating the league for the last 20 years. And now they fell.
Kind of crazy. Yeah, I'm pretty sure they probably sold their soul for all those Super Bowls, and now it's come that well.
I don't really think they sold their soul. If they sold their soul, they would probably only have 1, not 6. Now selling their souls, that's something like the Rams did or we did in 2017.
Yeah, that's yeah.
Like those teams that only win the fluky one, like the New Orleans Saints sold their souls. The Packers sold their souls.
Yeah, and yeah, that's true. I forgot about that. But
the Colts sold their souls.
Yeah, even though we look at those Colts teams in the past, boy, they had some phenomenal players. Peyton Manning, the prime Peyton Manning, Marvin Harrison Sr.,
but
Reggie
they were always
White.
missing a piece that would bring them over the top.
Yeah, it's
Except
always
for that one 2006 season when they beat the Bears, which that was an easy ass Super Bowl win.
Yeah, I think it was like Lovie Smith at head coach and Rex.
Put it this way: it was Peyton Manning versus Rex Grossman.
How do you think
Rex
that was
Grossman in 06?
I'm thinking,
and Rex had a shitty season. He got carried by the defense and the running game. Thanks, Devin Hester.
I think that's the same year you still had Devin Hester as your probably your top special team.
That's why I said thanks, Devin Hester, and thanks to their defense because they would have had a crap season if Rex Grossman wasn't carried.
God, Rex freaking Grossman, you're probably. It really does boggle the mind that Rex freaking Grossman actually had a Super Bowl appearance with the Chicago Bears.
But here's the thing: it was kind of like Trent Dilfer in Baltimore. Bad quarterback getting carried by a defense.
Yeah, when you look at those let's be real, the Ravens teams in the
and
late
what's even crazier about Trent Dilfer in 2000, that man has a ring. He didn't even earn that shit. The defense did.
I'm trying to think. He was the backup. I'm trying to think. Who was the backup to? Because this was it's not Joe.
He wasn't backup. No. He was not backup. He was starter. Trent Dilfer was starter.
I think after 2000 he has not went to
the Browns, stunk it up, went to another team, he became a journeyman.
Showed that we call that.
And then Trent Dilfer has enough gall to say, "Oh, these quarterbacks don't know how to." Like, you didn't know how to play either. Shut up.
That's real. You got
carried by a damn defense. 2000. Shut up.
That's real. Who was it? Ed Reed. I think one of the secondary. The great Ray Lewis, who was a human.
No, Ed Reed. I don't know if Ed Reed was in that defense.
I think that was a little bit later.
That was a little bit later. You had Ray Lewis.
The human battering ram. I mean. Let me ask you
this:
$1 million.
You had Siragusa. I think it's Siragusa. Tony Siragusa there.
All right. Yeah, they had some.
The goose, bro. The goose.
This was the 2000 Baltimore Ravens.
2000. This was 2000. So this is way before Ed Reed. Like a little bit ways before Ed Reed came into the picture.
Yeah. And also a little fun fact about the Ravens too: they were the original Cleveland Browns before they moved, and by courtesy.
And then the Browns got their franchise back and haven't done shit since. Made the playoffs in 2002.
So
2007.
Oh right, I forgot free safety. I forgot about Rod Wood. Rod Woodson's the name that will never, for some reason, doesn't come to mind.
Yeah, for me, when I hear Rod Woodson, I don't hear Ravens.
No, because Rod Woodson sounds like a guy that plays for the Raiders. No, that's
Charles.
That's Charles. Why am I thinking Charles for whatever reason? So
I think they were related. I think they were related though, but that's a different.
Shannon Sharp is one of their tight ends on that roster.
Oh, yeah, Shannon Sharp. That was his final years there. Shannon Sharp.
So, Tony Banks, Tony freaking Banks was the star. The starter? Well, actually, yeah. So defensively, you had Sam Adams at the defensive tackle, Rob Burnett, Lionel Dalton, Tony Siragusa, Adelius. Oh boy, some of these names that come to mind.
That 2000 pass rush. I look at highlights for that season. That pass rush was crazy for the Ravens, man. That pass rush was crazy. You had freaking Ray Lewis killing people, like he was over here like decking them, like he's freaking prime Brian Dawkins.
Well, that was the reason why he was called the human battering ram, because he hit
hard as hell. Even in his later years, when he won the second championship in 2012, he was hitting hard as hell.
And I think that year they went 12-4 that year in 2000,
despite Trent Dilfer.
yeah. Look at the talent that they have, but obviously, moving on to our next week 10. Well, this was not. Well, thank God I didn't really watch this because this was a one-sided blowout. Niners, Jags, 34-3 Niners.
Bro, what the hell happened to Jags?
I have no freaking.
Dude, this season, bro, they're getting carried by Etienne.
Yes, yeah.
Not even Trevor Lawrence is doing that great.
I mean, the
he's doing okay, but he's not doing great.
Yeah, it's. Ugh.
I expected a step up from Lawrence, and he is not giving it to me.
Trust me, it
pains me as a Clemson fan. It pains me because of all he did for Clemson, but
and just for some reason,
it's not panning out. It's not panning out so far, and I mean it's panning out a little bit because they're good, but he's not that elite franchise guy that I thought he was going to be. What's up, Backyard Birds? How you doing? Yeah, he's not that elite guy that I thought he was going to be in the league. I thought he was going to be good. For me though, I feel like Joe Burrow was more of what I thought he was going to be.
Exactly. That's because when you look at how, go over to Joe Burrow for a second. Look, when you look at during his time at LSU during his college year, his last year at LSU, you can tell this dude has franchise quarterback written all over him. And knowing that the Bengals, let's be real, they have. Oh, what was the last time they actually had a solid franchise QB? Since Carson Palmer? Oh, Jesus.
I don't even think he was that. Yeah, Carson Palmer for like a little bit, and in the back half of his career, he just like randomly started to suck.
Yep. I think, and Joe Burrow comes in, and the biggest nitpick we had in his rookie year was the offensive line. I mean, unfortunately, got him killed.
Yeah, and I will say this: I'm still going to give Trevor Lawrence time.
I'd say because I mean, if you think about
it, he is still young, he's still a kid at this point. He's got to get better, with the reads and everything else, and if he wants to be that franchise guy.
On paper, he's
like, dude, look what he did with Clemson. Man was damn near dominant. If he can kind of replicate that type of play into the pros, great.
I think so. Yeah,
but then again, you're like the pros are different in college, so it's a different, slower. It's slower than college. So he's gotta just look at his reads, see what's open, throw the ball.
Yeah,
and if there's nothing there, and the pressure's getting to you, run.
And in that game, he got sacked 5 times. I'm sorry. I do think. I will say I will say this too. I agree with that Backyard Birds. I'd agree. He needs a better quarterbacks coach because whatever they're teaching him, it ain't the right thing. It ain't right. Now, like I said, we can give Lawrence the benefit of the doubt because I mean
that's like saying as a coach 1 + 1 = 3. It ain't the right answer.
No, it really isn't. But and that's kind of what Tyler's alluded to. Like, it's a whole different animal once you get to the pros.
Yeah, it's a lot faster than the pros. It's a lot faster. And I hope Lawrence over time starts to realize it, and he gets better, and he becomes that dominant quarterback that he was in college.
Because because the Jags never really had a really solid history of having a franchise guy, even though they've been around.
They haven't had a solid quarterback literally since '99. 99, or actually since what's his face? One quarterback. They were good in the mid 2000s. They were
was
good.
It Byron Leftwich? Who am I thinking of?
Byron Leftwich. He was he was the one competent quarterback for a little while, and then
funny enough,
then they started to draft terribly with the quarterback position. They drafted
a bunch of scrubs. Because for some reason, when you think 99, I'm thinking Mark Brunell's. For some reason, that comes to mind.
Mark Brunell was like the the top tier quarterback before Byron Leftwich.
And Brian Leftwich nowadays is a solid coach, and I'm surprised he still hasn't have a job yet.
Very solid coach. But
why do you think he won those?
But yeah, you had Brunel in the 90s, the late 90s, 99, 2000, all that stuff. And then you had Byron Leftwich.
And a bunch of scrubs following that.
You go from Byron Leftwich to what's his face? Oh, what?
Damn. Like I said, this is a bunch of scrubs, and then you later up to get Gardner Minshew. And then
Gardner Minshew was like, He was like,
Minshew mania, kind of like that.
That was a flash in the pan season. Let's be honest, flash in the damn pan.
Yeah, that's what I was going to go with. It was a flash in the pan.
Then you tried to bank on Nick Foles. That flopped harder than freaking pancakes because he was out for He was out after half a game.
He was out from half the season with a broken clavicle.
Yeah, and he went down the first damn game of the season, and then when he came back, he sucked.
Yeah. And I mean, that's the best way to
players in the NFL are the best players out of college. Yes, it's like a college team facing an all Madden in comparison. Yep.
Yeah,
dude, try to play Madden on all Madden. Forget that. I can't even play on all pro. Backyard birds. I can't even play on all pro. I am terrible.
You know, we've actually coming in this year. I expected more from Trevor Lawrence this year because I mean, I thought he had.
I expected a little bit of progression. Like last year, he progressed nicely.
And
under the first year of Peterson,
the Chargers who they thought they were.
The Chargers are who we thought they were because their coach sucks.
Dude. Playoffs. We're talking.
We let him off the hook, and he slaps the dang mic.
Jim, we're
playoffs. Talk about playoffs.
Or the way I can describe
trying to win a game
as what Jim Morrison, I think was it during his time with the Saints to say we didn't do diddly.
No, it was the Colts in the early 2000s playoffs.
No, because he also had another saying. Say we didn't do diddly poo offensively.
We didn't do diddly poo offensively. We were shit on defense.
And
damn.
See, that's the Chargers in a nutshell. And I feel bad for Jake, who's like.
But here's the thing, though. They have a shitty coach.
Yeah,
but dude, he is shitty at coaching. He can't manage a damn clock. Jesus, he is so bad.
Like, there's
how the hell they made the damn playoffs last year under this guy is beyond the hell out of me.
Because what's funny about that, I want to kind of go. And that's the thing too. Like you could pick multiple instances of Brandon Staley not do like his
bro. They had a tie game.
So there was
against the Raiders.
For a tie. That was the thing.
They were going to settle for a damn tie and kick out one other team and let both those teams in. They were going to do it. The Raiders were planning to do it, and then Brandon Staley did something. I think he called a timeout or some shit.
Yeah, timeout at the worst possible.
At the worst time, and then the Raiders were like, "Fuck it," and they just threw the damn ball down the field and scored.
Just gave the boot. Oh, and I was going to say this too, and I feel bad for my boy, our boss Jake, because he's got
Jake's over here yelling, "Yo, give him his pink slip now! I'm effing done."
After blowing a 27-0 lead, for Christ's sakes.
I'm like, damn.
And the fact that
I haven't been that mad at a team since Chip Kelly was there.
Right. Speaking of, even though we haven't really talked much on college football, he's going to be on his way out of UCLA after he's going to be on his way out of. He's going to get fired.
He's ass. He is the embodiment of ass.
But
at coaching, he is. You can't tell me any different. He's terrible.
Easy. And let's remember, we haven't really been the same because think about when he traded Sean McCoy in his prime years for a pack of peanuts.
Dude, you know what pissed me off about that too? What pissed me off, it wasn't the LeSean McCoy trade. Yeah, that pissed me off. But you made up a fake-ass story. You called Deshaun Jackson a freaking gang member, then traded him.
Yeah, and that...
Are you fucking kidding me? Like, he called him a damn gang member, and then traded him.
And the fact that he wanted to trade the entire farm system to get Marcus Mariota at the same freaking time.
But really, at that time, Rob, Philly fans were clamoring to get Mariota because we even thought he was good at the time.
And yeah, look how early that turned out.
Dude, can I tell you something about that little statement there, Backyard Birds? It was with no lube.
Or basically how the Niners traded the Jags. They shadowed him with no TP.
Yeah, no TP. just freaking sandpaper to wipe your ass with, you know? I had to.
God, not sandpaper. Oh, yeah, I had to do it. But moving on, we got our next game. We got the Vikings and the Saints. Vikings coming out on top. Unlike what I've seen from Josh Dobbs, even though
I don't get that either. They played DeMarco Murray like McCoy. He's not a West Coast runner. He is a North South. He is like right down your damn throat type of runner.
What Derrick Henry is nowadays, or
like Derrick. He was a Derrick Henry type. He's a big, stocky, North South runner. And they were trying to use him East West. Yeah, he had some good runs. Like that one time he hurdled a dude. That was it.
Yeah, it was only.
He had like 1 or 2 games where he had good runs, and then like the rest of the time he was getting tackled in the backfield. For me, I like the DeMarco Murray signing, but the fact that the coach used him poorly, I hate it. And I'm like, yeah, Chip Kelly has to go.
And thank God he got fired, and how we got his job back.
Yeah, he was North South. He is going down that defense's throat, going right down the field, North South, not East damn West, and like sideline to sideline. He's not that guy. No, he's not. He was never that guy.
And what's also funny about with McCoy, and unless I still love Michelle McCoy, and I'd still do this day, it's the fact that it's funny. I think was it the Snow Bowl. I think you were calling it when it snowed so heavily up here. He was the only one that actually did something against the Detroit Lions.
But here's the thing, though. You got to take into account, Rob, that throwing the ball in those blizzard-like conditions and catching the ball is hard.
Suck.
Like you can't say that. Oh, he was the only one that did anything. The other players tried. They tried, and they still won the game. So they tried enough. They caught enough.
Did Detroit actually wear their white uniforms in that game? Because I'm trying to remember.
Yeah, which was it was a huge damn mistake too. I'm like, it looked like the Eagles were playing against the snow.
Well, then again,
I'm like, I can't even. And the camera quality was so bad because it was snowing so heavily. You couldn't see shit.
Was like you could not.
You couldn't see shit on the broadcast.
Front 7 of the Detroit Lions in the snow.
And you couldn't even see the front. That was their fault, though. That was their fault, though, Rob, because they were wearing their white jerseys, like you said.
And at the same time, that's the only game that the Eagles have played in bad weather conditions. I mean, if you go back to the early '80s, we played the Bears and it was known the Fog Bowl. You could not see the fucking football. Oh God, that's
the fog, dude. The fog screwed us. The fog screwed us there. It's so funny how we know our players better than the coaches and how to use them. Exactly.
See, that's the funny thing.
That's how you know a bad coach from a good coach. Because a good coach, they will be like, yeah, we see that and we're gonna use them properly. Like look at last year, the coach was like, yeah, we should have ran the ball more halfway through the season. Or no, that was 2 years ago. Yeah, we should have run the ball more halfway through the season. They started running the ball and they won games.
And we went on that hot stretch.
On that hot stretch, went 9-8, made the playoffs.
It just barely, honestly, barely got in. I would say.
I wouldn't say barely got in because we tanked the last game because that game didn't matter.
Oh yeah, just a piss. Oh, who was
just a piss, dude? It was just to piss off somebody. I forgot who it was.
I think it might have been the Giants.
No, it was just to piss off the Giant fans. Because it was I think it was us versus the Cowboys, and if the Cowboys lost, the Giants made it, and it was just to piss them off.
Oh yeah, and that's the same. First, and that's another thing too. We did that twice. We tanked.
We did that in 2020 when we had nothing to play for.
Exactly.
You pissed them off again by tanking. I'm like, Jesus.
Actually, I'm sorry. That's 3 times. You tanked in 2020. What's twice? And then we. And much as I hate was, I know as much as me, Tyler, and most Eagles fans will have to say, but we're going to say thanks, Jerry, for making the trade.
Bro, we tag teamed. We tag teamed on the Giants.
God,
I'm like, that was beautiful. That was beautiful. It was like the one time Giant. It was the one time Dallas fan and Eagles fans came together in that one moment.
It was both a win-win trade for both sides.
And I have to agree with Backyard Birds. We need a more balanced attack. I don't think we run the ball enough.
True,
and we've been screaming. We've been screaming since September. Run the ball. Run the ball. Run the ball. You have DeAndre Swift for a reason. Run the ball.
Or as Sandra Bullock said, run the darn ball. You know,
run the darn ball, bro. You know, call the coach up on the flip phone. Even though it was like 2009, she had a flip phone.
Yeah, which is crazy. But
then again, the movie was filmed like in the early 2000s, so it's like
even though we turned out
it was set in the early 2000s, so it made sense.
Good movie, even though that was such a
even though the whole movie was a damn lie. I hate it,
and I'm pissed.
I'm
pissed. Made me so mad. Like damn, you had to, but you know, eventually somebody it was. Can I
would actually, what the fuck?
Oh, jeez. But moving on, before we get off track a little bit, like I said, we're not going to go through much in these games. You know, like we're going to go over teams like, perfect example, the Lions and Chargers. Solid game, both sides. Just Lions showed they were proved to be a legit team.
Again. For me, I think it was just poor coaching by Staley again. I really think that.
And then
I'm not saying that Dan Campbell and the Lions aren't a great team. They are, and I love what Dan Campbell brought to that team.
And you could tell, like, and we all said before the season that this is their division to lose because it's a wide ass open division.
It is. It's wide open right now.
And look, I still the Vikings because it's kind of crazy too that I'd never actually because I thought I was going to expect the Vikings to miss the playoffs, but doesn't really look like the case. I mean, they picked the win over the Saints, who they've been on and off, I would say, for the Saints because it's really hard to place them.
Dude, for me, I don't know what's going on. I don't know if Derek Carr fits that scheme.
I don't know.
I don't know what's going on with him. He's been good for the Raiders for X amount of years.
Despite the team around him was actually absolute shit.
Yeah, since 2013, he was really good. And then, like, this year, he's just been check down pick. Like, I don't know if you guys like The Rock. He was on Joe Rogan telling his story. Check it out. Dude. His story, The Rock story, I do like it. I do like his story. The way he came up to be, him, getting a car from a crack addict at one point. It's funny as shit, the story. He also tried out for football. Didn't make the Canadian League. He didn't make the NFL. Tried wrestling, got big in wrestling.
And
he got bigger in Hollywood. It's a great story. It's a great started from the bottom story.
But yeah, like I said, we're going to move to our next topic of discussion. Some of your biggest NFL surprises and or busts. Well, let's get the easy surprise out of the way is CJ Stroud. Because I know we harped on it a lot the last few episodes, just because there's the biggest narrative, the biggest myth around Ohio State quarterbacks just never pan out in the NFL.
Yeah,
no, it's
and that's my surprise too. That's a layup, if you ask me. Pick for surprise because go enjoy the Sixers, man. Thank you for stopping by, brother.
Appreciate it.
Thank you for stopping by. But yeah, the biggest surprise for me, definitely CJ Stroud, because like you said, Ohio State quarterbacks, they don't normally pan out. They don't normally pan out at all.
I mean, right now we're seeing the late Dwayne Haskins, which sucks. I mean, the dude only it's.
He was such a good dude. It was just like he just didn't translate his play into the NFL. Some guys just don't fit the NFL, and it happens.
Or that we saw this year that didn't fit the mold. Justin Fields. Yes, he got
put in the worst. No, here's the thing. No, I have to disagree with that. Justin Fields, I think he's an okay quarterback. He doesn't have an offensive line still. The defense sucks. His receivers, at best.
I mean, outside of DJ Moore, it's actually okay.
Like, I don't think it's all Justin Fields' fault, so I have to disagree with that. I have to disagree.
I think another one I think no one really talks about, Sam Howell. I think Washington might have finally got their guy in Sam Howell. Just holy shit, get that dude a competent offensive line.
Yeah, I think the only problem that I'm about to call them their other name, the Commanders had, is the fact that they don't have an offensive line.
But he's got a solid wide receiver duo in Terry McLaurin and Jahan Dotson.
Oh yeah, they got a great duo. They got a great duo in that receiving corps.
Can we talk about Brian Robinson, even though he's not
the man gets shot and freaking balls the hell out after. Freaking badass.
Look, like I said, we can say this from division rivals. We know the potential of how good Washington can be. It's just where are you going to put the pieces? Because you already moved on from Montez Sweat, who is kind of balling for Chicago, and Chase Young's balling for the 49ers.
I think when they got rid of Chase Young, I'm like, yeah, that's a big mistake. Chase Young was one of your bright spots on that defensive side of the ball, and
even though the thing with Chase Young is like he couldn't stay healthy his first 2 years of because remember he's dealt with the lingering knee injury since coming out of college.
Bro, but then again, look they're doing it again, man. The 49ers, we're picking up guys who are normally injury prone and they're not injured. CMC, they got him from Carolina. And when he was in Carolina, he couldn't even stay healthy at all.
Oh, yeah,
he played maybe like a game a season. At most 5 games. And he goes to San Fran, he balls out of his freaking mind, has a healthy season.
Because if we look at CMC at its time for Stanford, this dude can play should have been on a contender rather than we don't know how the Panthers are nowadays, but that's besides the point. But I would say, Chase Young I would say Sam Howell is the biggest bright spot or biggest surprise in terms for the Washington side as far as I'm concerned. We know how good Jahan Dotson is, even though I will rip on because I don't have Penn State, but I will rip into them later on because
we got plenty to say about Penn State because oh my god.
But I like what Jahan Dotson brings. I like Scary Terry, even though he's a thorn in their side at times, but phenomenal talent. Good running back duo with Brian Robinson Jr. and Antonio Gibson. Curtis Samuel at times is a solid number 3 when he's healthy. But I would say Sam Howell for me, because CJ Stroud is one of them, is a big surprise this year. And same with Sam Howell and yes, I know we didn't really see much Sam Howell because obviously short sample size, only 2 games that he played because they didn't have enough to play for it. So, I think another surprise. I would say another one that's a surprise. Zay or Jordan Addison for the Minnesota Vikings. Ever since when Justin Jefferson went down with, I think was it a knee injury or ankle injury, one of the two. He kind of stepped up as that temporary wide receiver 1, while Jefferson, Jesus Christ. Shut up.
I had to.
You know what I meant. But the bus side of things, I'm really. I don't know if it's too soon to say Kenny Pickett, but Kenny Pickett just.
I don't think I'd call him a bust. I don't think I'd call him a bust. I think
another year.
Again, honestly, this is all in Canada, Matt Canada. You need to get rid of him. Even if they have a good season, and they make the playoffs. They're sitting at 6-3 right now. If they make the playoffs, still fire Matt Canada. Because for some reason, his offense is stunting the growth of Kenny Pickett. It is stunting his growth big time. They need to get rid of him. Get a guy who's a bit more creative with the play calling on offense, not just slant route, predictability. None of that.
Yeah.
So have a guy who comes in, is very creative with the play calling, and just let Kenny work. If he doesn't do good under a new coordinator within, I guess, I would say 2-3 years,
then you gotta look for another franchise QB.
Then call it quits then. But I won't say Kenny Pickett's a bust yet.
But I will say this too. I think it's not going to be a player that's a surprise. I want to say the Houston Texans is one of the biggest. I think should be the biggest talking point right now in terms of the surprises for a team. As we talked about, been a laughingstock for the last 2 decades plus. Finally, get their guy of the future and really succeeding with Tank Dell, Robert Woods, Nico Collins. Will Anderson Jr. is actually having a pretty solid rookie season on the defensive of the football. In terms of the other surprises, well, one can make the argument I would say put Baltimore up there to an extent. The fact that they're finally, and yes, I mean, off to a really bit of a not say a slow start, just unfortunately, they were kind of like the Niners a little bit, just cannot catch away with the damn injury bug. I mean, whether it's Lamar getting hurt, whether it sucks that who just torn this ACL? Who am I? Who's the? I am drawing a blank right now. Who am I missing?
It's the guy we've been clamoring about. Why is he always getting hurt? He's really good.
What's his name? I am not. It's not Gus Edwards because he's actually been balling out, and I also like Mitchell as well.
Yeah, it's Dobbins. It's Dobbins.
Dobbins, who for some reason cannot catch a fucking break. Which stinks. But for me, that's kind of where my surprises are because there's really not that much surprises. But some disappointments was the Bengals early on, but they're starting to catch up a little bit, even though tough loss against the
biggest disappointment for me is the Bills.
You went the most obvious.
I went the most obvious route because this team had not only playoff aspirations, but Super Bowl aspirations, and they're not even going to meet that.
You had the chance,
and sure, you can make the case. Oh yeah, the Patriots are disappointing, but they're tanking. Well, it's obvious what they're doing. They're trying to rebuild. They're in a rebuild, so I can't really count that. Dorian Green is playing.
I don't know, but yeah.
But yeah, I would say the Bills layup pick for disappointing.
Yeah, and I would say you got to because the Bills had an opportunity. The Bills had a chance in 2021. They were literally knocking on the door of a Super Bowl appearance and just completely collapsed. Last year, boy, they got completely embarrassed by the Bengals on their own turf. But see, that's another thing. So I want to go talk about that a little bit too, because I know we talk about it in sport. How the hell do you get embarrassed on your own home field and the conditions that you've been accustomed to playing in, and yet, doesn't make any fucking sense to me. I'm sorry, but that still boggles my mind of how stupidity I would say the fact you had to collapse the way you did last year, and now we're seeing that Josh Allen's been careless with the football. You fired your OC Ken Dorsey. I don't know how good Joe Brady's going to do. There's been, people talking about McDermott being on the hot seat at some point. There's a lot of things going. You lost your top linebacker, Matt Milano. You lost your top defensive tackle, Daquan Jones. DeMar Hamlin, it's a good comeback story. Stinks. That entire team stinks like Limburger cheese.
They're just like the worst. Makes you
shake your head.
Literally, it's like I sat there watching the Monday night game. I'm like, how the hell did you let that final play happen? How the hell did you mismanage that? You have the guy. You couldn't really time them getting on the field that quick for the field goal, but you could have said, "Hey, dude, get off the field before the play starts."
Yeah.
You didn't even do that, and also the turnovers and the bad play from Josh Allen and the inconsistencies and players leaving the team like before the season even started. Like it's pretty bad for them. I feel like a worse situation. I didn't expect them to just be 5-5.
No,
I expected a bit better.
Like for a team, because right now it looks like Miami might take this division, even though I still can't trust Miami against good teams.
Miami. Yeah, nobody's trusting them. I feel like a lot of football fans are calling them frauds because they've gotten a lot of easy wins on their schedule. And you play. Yeah, I get it. You play who's in front of you. I get it. You play who's in front of you. We play a lot of bad teams last year and still made the Super Bowl. Like look at us last year. We played a lot of bad teams last year, still made the Super Bowl.
Yeah, and we can
anything can happen,
and I can find out about that.
Yeah, we had a cupcake schedule. Yeah, but yeah, the whole thing with they're frauds because they can't beat good teams. I kind of have to disagree a little bit, but I do see their point.
Good teams, they just can't put it together for whatever reason.
It's not like they're getting blown out by good teams.
Well, they did get blown out by Buffalo, though.
They lost. See, that was the only bad loss, though. But they're not. But the Bills aren't even a good team. They're not.
Oh, which is kind of crazy to put that Bills and not a good team in the same sentence. That's.
I don't think we put Bills and not a good team in the same sentence since like 2015.
I think because when did Josh Allen get into the league? What, 2015, 2016, somewhere around there? I think it might have been 2015.
Nope. It was like 2017, 18, I think. But it was like we haven't said the Bills are going to be the Bills are a bad team since Fitzpatrick started.
Oh, yeah, that's yikes.
Like he was like, and that's how inconsistent they are now. You have a good game, and you have a shit game. Good game, shit game. Good game, shit. Like it's pretty bad. It's pretty bad. But yeah, that's my disappointing team. Who's your disappointing team?
I want to go ahead and go with the. Oh boy, I want to go with the. I want to see the Bills, but that's the most obvious from the eye test. I'm going to say. That's a tough. That's a good question. You know what? I'm going to say most disappointing is the Tennessee Titans. Now, it's not to say they're going to be that's another team that should really go into a full blown rebuild. I think Will Levis should be the guy going forward. Even though let's be real, the dude puts mayo in his coffee, and we don't want to talk about that.
Again, Ron? Can we drop that? Can we drop it?
I do like what I
said. That shit is gross. That shit is gross. That's like the only bad decision the guy ever makes. Is just putting mayo in his coffee.
I think you put another team that's in the most very disappointing category. New York Football Giants, for a team that I have no freaking clue what they're doing.
There's like a plethora of problems with that team that I can't even pinpoint what they should do.
Yeah,
I can't even tell you what they should do.
Now you're relying on your third string QB for obviously almost of the season because Tyrod Taylor's making his way back, and Tyrod, and the dude can't even catch a break because the dude had to deal with a punctured lung during his time with the Chargers. I don't know how that freaking happens, and now with a rib injury, it's either a lung. A punctured lung or somehow a fractured rib. I don't understand it with Tyrod.
I don't even understand the body sometimes. Like you can hit somebody so hard that you can literally cut their kidney.
Like in perfect example, see Nate Gardner-Johnson when he was here.
I'm like, how does that even happen? Hitting somebody so hard they cut their kidney.
your guess is as good as mine. But moving on, like I said, we're gonna now we're going on to the picks and predictions for Week 11, which it's going to be interesting. So the first we got is a Thursday night. This could be a toss-up. You got two teams are coming off a close loss. Both are matchups with the Bengals, I'm sorry, come off a 30-27 loss to the Texans, and then yet the Ravens got walked off on a field goal by the Browns. For me, shit. On paper,
I don't really trust Ravens. I don't.
Yeah, you know what? I'm with you. I'm going with Bengals.
I'm going Bengals too. I'm going Bengals.
It was the most obvious when you got the 2-8 Cardinals taking on the 5-4 Texans, and obviously, yes,
Texans skip. Okay, let's go. Next game.
But they're going to be
Texans.
Oh well, here's another obvious one: Lions and Bears. Oh my! Sorry, that's a bad. Sorry, I had to pull that out.
No, if it was a triple threat between the Tigers, I would have gotten that. But whatever. But they don't have triple threat games. So
Jesus Christ! Here's another obvious one: Cowboys over the Panthers. Easy, go Dallas.
Cowboys.
Here's the thing: I'll be shocked if somehow,
if they get blown out by the damn Panthers, I'm gonna laugh.
Anyway. You know you're down, but
you know you're down bad when you're losing to the damn Panthers.
To see it happen as a division rival, yes, but knowing the state of the Panthers, it ain't gonna happen.
It ain't gonna happen.
Well, we got the Chargers at 4-5 taking on 3-6 Green Bay Packers. Now the Packers, they are been disappointed but inconsistent as well.
It's just for me, Jordan Love is just making errant throws.
I'm going with the Chargers because I think the defense is actually played some solid football, but just the offense just can never get it. No, I'm sorry, it's the defense can never get it right. But I'm going to go with the Chargers. I think just that they have much better talent and just better. They just have a better overall team on paper than the Packers. Quite honestly, in my honest opinion.
Now, I want to say the Chargers, but this all stems if Staley just wakes up as a damn coach. Because come on, they should have won this week too. They should have won this week, but they didn't. And the Lions are a tough team, so I can't not give them credit. But I don't. I'm going to say Chargers for right now, but I don't completely trust Staley. I don't.
Yeah, I'm with you on that one because for some reason I was second guessing myself and leaning with the Packers to kind of really salt and wounds.
Honestly, man, best bet is just stay with the Chargers with the bet.
Yeah, I'm sticking with the Chargers because, well, we'll see how that plays out this week. But now we're going to another AFC team. So we have battle of the AFC West and the AFC East. We got the 6-3 Miami Dolphins hosting the 5-5 Las Vegas Raiders. Now the Raiders, gone through a fired Josh McDermott, fired the GM, played some solid football in a bit of a stretch, just not that impressive, to quite honest. And I like Antonio Pierce as a coach. But I'm going with the Dolphins. I think the Dolphins are getting A-Chain back to really help out that running game. And you could and I love Raheem Mostert, but just A-Chain is pretty much what
A-Chan's their top guy. That's their franchise right there. The franchise back. But I have to agree with you there. I have to choose the Dolphins. But I want to commend the damn the coach for the Raiders for letting the practice squad guys stay on the sidelines, be on the sidelines, and like dude, they're suiting up just like the rest of the team is. You know, do you think they don't belong there because they're practice squad guys? No, I'm gonna let them be on the sideline, and I like him for it. But when I'm definitely going for
Miami.
For Miami at this point. I'm forgetting what team was playing, but I'm going for Miami there.
So we have another NFC East matchup. We got the 2-8 New York Giants taking on the 4-6 Washington Commanders. Commanders coming off a surprising, a very close loss, a tough loss to the Seattle Seahawks, and the Giants, well, coming off an ass whooping by the Cowboys 29-17.
I expect the Commanders to whip their ass. It's going to be another ass whooping. I expect the Commanders to whip their ass.
Yeah, I agree. But I think Washington, we both go to Washington. So now we got the battle of the AFC North as our next matchup. We got the 6-3 Pittsburgh Steelers taking on the 6-3 Cleveland Browns. Now, the Browns, they're not going to have Deshaun Watson. I don't know, for some reason, I think it looks like PJ Walker is going to get the nod again. For me, I think this is a bit of a toss-up because you got two solid defenses in the AFC North. But I'm going to lead towards the Cleveland Browns. I like TJ Watt, but I think Myles Garrett even though TJ Watt career numbers, I think is much better than Myles Garrett. But Myles Garrett just treats grown men like little kids of how strong he can be. But I'm going with the Browns.
I have to go to Browns here too. That defense is just top tier.
And I can't trust that Steelers offense worth a damn.
I can't trust the Steelers offense. I don't really trust the Browns offense either. PJ Walker's super inconsistent at times. But honestly, they're way better without Deshaun than they are with him. So I'm gonna go Browns here.
So we got our next AFC matchup. You got the 3-6 Tennessee Titans taking on the 6-3 Jags. The Jags coming off an ass whooping by the Niners. And the Titans, well, coming off a loss against the Bucks.
I think the Titans are in tank mode now. At this point in the season, I have to give it to Jags.
And obviously never picking the Titans again because anytime when the Titans have something good going, they always somehow fuck it up each and every goddamn week. You had an opportunity to win on Thursday night against the Steelers, and you had an opportunity to win over the Bucks, who no disrespect to Baker Mayfield, but that's our team stinks. I'm sorry. And that's just me. But I'm going Jags. I think that's their division to lose because right now, the only team I can see can pose a threat to take that division. Honestly, hot take. I think I'm going to stay with my hot take. I still think Houston will take that AFC South crown away from Jacksonville.
I think so too. I think Jacksonville is just good enough to be a wild card team. They're not good to win the division. I know they won the division before under Lawrence last year, but that was on a weak AFC South.
It was weak, but at the same time, they got lucky because Tennessee collapsed at the worst possible time.
They were like 7-2, and then they just like bottomed out.
But I'm going with the Jags, just realistic purposes. I think they just got better talent. But I'd be shocked if Jacksonville drops this game. Well, here's another. This kind of feels like another ass whooping. 6-3 Niners taking on the 4-5 Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I'm going Niners. Moving on.
Yeah, next Niners.
So this one, do I really have to pick this one? The Jets at 4-5 taking on the 5-5 Buffalo Bills. Why do I have to pick this one?
I feel like I'm going to projectile vomit at that matchup.
Oh, for the love of all that is holy!
If they
Jets,
this is the test. This is the test here. If you lose to the damn Jets, the goddamn Jets. Yes, that's a goddamn Big Daddy reference. Yes, the goddamn Jets.
And also, too, this is an AFC divisional matchup too. This is
if you lose to the Jets, you're gonna miss the playoffs.
Second place in the AFC East, and that drops the Bills to third.
If you lose to the Jets of all teams, you deserve to miss the playoffs. You deserve to miss the playoffs.
And I'm going to feel bad for a lot of Bills fans, the true Bills fans out there had to put up with this crap.
Dude, I'm already pissed off for them anyway. For them going 5-5.
I go with the Bills because I don't know. I'm kind of second guessing myself.
I'm just gonna say Bills, and if they lose this game,
we know where they lie.
Oh
God, I see. This is why I hate picking anything that has to do with the Bills. I don't want to pick because I can't trust them.
If the Eagles go to the Super Bowl, which team would you not want to play?
right now, if you, I would say the Ravens.
I would say the Ravens too,
just because I think they're more dynamic than the Chiefs. And look, no disrespect to Patrick Mahomes and the rest of the Kansas City Chiefs.
They don't have a receiving core. They don't have a receiving core.
The Chiefs have not been that impressive. And look, yes, they know how to win games, but you had because you had the Ryland Travis Kelce is the only guy who can actually catch balls.
But then again, though, we won't have to hear freaking Travis Kelce dating Taylor Swift for another week by that point if we play the Ravens.
Yeah, you know what? That is absolutely true.
God on that part. So, we have to hear, dude. We have to hear about that shit tonight. No. I ain't watching that damn game because of that. Nope.
No, that's Monday. Today's Wednesday.
Oh, that is Monday. Oh, I thought today was Monday.
It doesn't feel like a Wednesday.
It doesn't. It feels like a Monday. But dude,
I said, I've always will have respect because the only reason why I always respect the Chiefs because of Andy Reid. Because let's be real, I still have a soft spot for Andy Reid because, dude. And look, and Patrick Mahomes is just a freaking nature.
Dude, if he asked me to have one of his patented cheeseburgers with the guy, I ain't saying no.
Oh, absolutely not.
I will have a cheeseburger with the guy.
Was that Patrick Mahomes? No, who surprised him with it? That had been Patrick Mahomes who did that.
Patrick Mahomes after the Super Bowl last year, it made me laugh too because he came in with a freaking burger. Here you go. Here's your championship burger. And I cracked up. That was funny.
And it's also what's great about that too. As much as I know, look, listen to Andy Reid, even though let's be real, it's got to feel good for Andy Reid, but at the same time, it probably hurts him a little bit inside because, well, you played your former friend,
Bro, it hurt us inside.
Yeah,
it hurt me inside. I'm like, for all those years you've been with us, and then you beat us. You became the enemy.
Yeah, but honestly, look, and that's the thing too. Like that's why I will respect Andy Reid because he really changed the culture because. Of Kansas City because remember, if you look at the years past before Andy Reid got there, the Chiefs were absolute hot trash. Oh, Jesus.
Yeah, when all they had was freaking Jamal Charles on that team.
Still underrated running back. I don't give anybody or see wide receiver.
I don't even know who the wide receivers were.
But yeah, Jamal Charles, underrated player. Can't at me on that. Now we're going to an NFC West matchup. We got the 6-3 Seattle Seahawks taking on the 3-6 the Los Angeles Rams. Now, the Rams, I think they were on their bye week this week. They're going to try to get Stafford back, obviously from a thumb injury. You have the Seahawks, who barely squeaked out a win over the Washington Commanders.
Now, I was watching a thing that said on Facebook, it's like Fox Sports or something. Somebody said that Geno Smith wasn't going to win a Super Bowl anytime soon. He wasn't a Super Bowl winning. He wasn't like that elite. He's not. I agree. Now Stafford, yes, you could say, oh, he won a Super Bowl before,
but he inherited a team that was stacked.
He inherited. I'm not going to say that.
Actually, you know what? I'll take that.
I'm not going to say that. I'm not going to say that. It's the fact that. For me, I don't think the Rams are going to win this game because, Geno Smith, he's not a Super Bowl quarterback. He's not elite. He's good. He ain't elite. But
and the Rams they're still in rebuild mode.
They're in rebuild. They're in a rebuild right now, and it's because they made that mistake. When they won the Super Bowl, put all their eggs in one basket.
And then they didn't have enough money to pay the players, and you saw Allen Robinson gone. You lost Von Miller to free agency.
Ramsey's gone.
Yeah, Ramsey, and he's balled up with Miami. You lost.
Von Miller's gone. Like all these guys are gone because you spent so much money on them. And I'm like, when I saw like the cap salary or how much money they paid these players in the Super Bowl. When they were like, oh, they paid him this much money, that much money. Look at all the contracts that they paid these players. Why they're in the Super Bowl right now? I'm like, I looked at that. I looked at that like little graphic that Fox put. Yeah, OBJ's gone now. But I'm like, yeah, they really fucked up. I'm like, they pulled what we pulled.
I have a couple of friends that are Rams fans, and I told them personally, say, you're going to make maybe the same mistake as we did. They didn't want to listen.
The same mistake. They made the same mistake we did in 2017.
And
put all our eggs in one basket, and half the team was
I
gone by
will say
next
with
year.
the Rangers, though, they got some nice young talent that they got. And that's the thing, too. And that was the one thing, too, that's when you look at that entire Rams team as a whole, they were only a bit on the older side. Matt Stafford was he 30, somewhere right before it's already before he's reaching his 40s. OBJ was up there in age, obviously with
Vaughn's up there. Vaughn
was up there.
You had Whitworth that retired after that season.
Solid, I'll say solid analyst so far in his early.
Dude, I like Whitworth. Whitworth's awesome for Amazon.
You did have one young player on that. That was Cooper Kupp, and well, the dude was just dude was so stupidly good last year.
Cooper Kupp was a freaking tank.
I think they got the triple crown last. Yeah, he did get the triple crown last year. And
they were a bad team. He was still a freaking tank for him. But
sure, you
have all these guys that are on. They were paid a lot of money for 1 year, like all 1 year deals, and then they all left because they had no money to re-sign these players. And that was the same thing with us.
We paid all these
guys 1 year deals.
We need to get younger.
We paid the old players. Alshon regressed a little bit.
I think Torrey Smith retired.
Torrey Smith retired the same year he won the Super Bowl. No, he went to the Carolina Panthers the next year and then retired.
Yeah,
next year.
I completely forgot he had a stint in.
It wasn't much of a stint. I mean,
then again,
he was good, but it was like the Carolina Panthers were already shit by that point.
Yeah.
You had Ronald Darby, who had that foot injury after that season, and then he wasn't the same since. Because he was good for us for that 1 year. Avonte Maddox is still there, but he's still balling out. He's still a great spot.
Even though Avonte Maddox can't catch a break with the injury bug as of recently.
Oh my dude, every time he balls out, he gets hurt.
Like damn,
I feel bad for the guy.
And I can imagine it's been frustrating. It's like damn, but
he's probably like, damn, I have to stay into a hospital again.
But I will say with the Rams, they do have a nice plethora. They do have some draft capital going into this next draft class, which that's actually pretty great for them. They actually finally have a first rounder in 2024. But I do like what they have right now in terms of the wide receiver outside of Cooper Kupp with Puka Nacua. Who for me, that's another big surprise I forgot to mention too. This entire year that no one really talks about. He was kind of guy that kind of flew under I would say not flew under the radar, but was the kind of guy that really
I feel like he did. I feel like he did fly under the radar because no one's really talking about the Rams because how bad they are. How bad they've been the last few seasons.
Seattle, I think they're going to be a consistent playoff team, but it's just how much longer you're going to rely on Geno before you realize you're going to need an actual franchise QB because Drew Lock ain't it. I like that your wide receiver trio with DK Metcalf, Tyler Lockett, and Nick Jigba. Even though the fact you still have Jason Peterson on offensive line, that's so concerning, but he's for some reason he is actually balling out in Seattle for whatever freaking reason. There's some things that I think the Seahawks should really need to fix on. Hopefully, in the all season going into next year is definitely that run defense. But maybe that's just me. But I'm going to take Seattle over Los Angeles because I think they're just a better team in that division. I mean, coming off a close win, and that's the thing too. And look, and that's what you're going to get. The Seahawks at times can be hot and cold depending on the week. And yes, it is a week-to-week league. It's any given Sunday. We all know that saying. We're going to the next one. We're going Sunday Night Football, which on paper doesn't seem too bad. You got the 6-4 Minnesota Vikings taking on the 4-5 Denver Broncos.
Yeah.
Shit.
Yeah, this one's shit. This one's pretty shit.
No, I would say, like on paper, it's not that bad.
On paper, it's shit. But it could be.
Because we say the Broncos and they
because look at this past Monday. We're thinking, it's going to be a blowout. Again, I'm thinking, it's going to be a blowout win for the Bills.
And the Broncos said,
The Bills said, nah, it ain't happening.
Or we'd say this too. It's like here, Denver, we're going to give you a W. literally in the most embarrassing way possible.
Here you go. Like, really?
So we got the Vikings coming off a win over the Saints, which was not that impressive, quite honest. But I do like what I seen out of Josh Dobbs.
I do. That's like a success story if I know one.
For sure, the dude tries to had a major into an astro. What was it? An astro some sort of with like
astrophysics NASA, or some shit,
like some like some sort of engineering, and the fact that he found a way to
aero something.
Aero engineering, that's what it was.
Aero engineering,
try to work for NASA and took it. Boy, this like is like a success story, but
also look at what happened. I think he was drafted in 2016. I think never got a chance to play until last year. Last year he got it going. Was that team good last year? The two starts he played, whatever. They were okay. But then he played with the Cardinals this year. Yeah, they were 1-8, but he was balling there. They just had a plethora of problems outside of him that were.
He came into the league in 2017 for the Steelers.
Yeah, he played like 2 games for him. He was decent, but then he bounced around a bit. Went back to the Steelers, didn't play. Went to I forgot who else. Somewhere, but then
it went Steelers from 2017 to 2019 to the Jaguars, back to the Steelers, to the Browns, to the Lions, back on the Titans.
Oh yeah, he played for the lowly Browns. He wasn't.
He was on the practice squad though.
He was kind of meh there.
And then it was on the Cardinals previously before getting traded.
Yeah, then he went to the Cardinals. He played good there, but they just weren't a good team. Again, like the Browns situation, a lot of issues around the quarterback that were the issue. But now he's on the Vikings. They are 6-4 because of him.
And the fact that he got it, and the Broncos right now won 2 straight in the last 2 weeks.
Yeah, like Steve just said, Russ has got the kitchen cooking.
Yeah, so hopefully this, not compared to last year, who got roasted by Patrick fucking.
Bro, I'm like, dude, I looked at, me and Rob watched that stream, and we looked at, me and Rob watched that Nickelodeon stream, because I'm like, fuck, I'm gonna watch it, because it was like on like a live TV feature on Paramount. I'm like, fuck, I'm watching that feature. I'm watching it there. And me and Rob looked at each other, because we video chatted with each other. I go, did he just get roasted by fucking Patrick Starr?
Yeah.
I'm like, damn. I guess Russ don't know how to cook or some shit. I'm like, damn.
That's not what he wanted to cook.
That's not what he wanted to cook. That's what he said. I'm like, Jesus. That's like a low point. You get roasted by a kid's cartoon character.
When you're at your lowest, when you get roasted by
that's your low point. I'm like, that's your rock bottom right there. That's bikini bottom. That's rock bottom, boy.
But I will say,
bikini bottom was rock bottom, Rob. That's the problem. You get roasted by a freaking cartoon character. I don't think Russ sucks because he's having a good season this year. It's just the team around him sucks.
Yeah, it's
last year. I think he was just like trying to get Hackett out of there,
and rightfully so. And we're seeing. I mean, at best, like I said, I'm going to go with the Vikings on this one because I don't think the Denver defense is going to, because Josh Dobbs can scramble along with the best of anybody. He can run the football when he needs to. And I think that's where the problem with Denver's defense, I would see that might run into the problem with a mobile quarterback like Josh Dobbs. And by the time, I think this is going to be the week that Justin Jefferson comes back and, good luck to that secondary getting torched.
Oh. You're already dude. You're already good. You're already good without him.
But once you get him back, wide receiver before Justin Jefferson got hurt was Jefferson and Jordan Addison from USC, and that's stupidly good. But I'm going with the Vikings just because.
Yeah, I'm going Vikings too.
And even though, yes, we have, it's not just me and Tyler. We always have the superstition. Every time we pick the Vikings, they somehow lose. When we don't pick them, they win. That's like, come on. But
no, that's just me. No, that's just me with the Bears.
Oh,
That's just me with the damn Bears. It's like every time I pick the Bears, it's not that they lose. Is that every time I pick them, they get blown the hell out. Every single game I pick them, they get blown out. I'm like, dude, you make it like, dude. I don't care if they lose. Just don't make it freaking painful for me. Jesus. And they do.
But last and final game this week is Monday Night Football. Well, I know I had to go home. I went full homer here. I'm taking the Birds over the Chiefs just because.
Birds, go Birds.
I mean, look, I think Patrick Mahomes I think he's having an okay season. It's just
the problem is it's been this way for all the entire season. The receiving core, all they got is Kelsey,
and just got McCall Hardman back from the Jets, who hasn't really done much. And I mean, has played a couple of games, but mostly
that's all you have. All you have is Travis Kelce and McCall Hardman, who's not that great.
Kelsey is just mostly it's pretty much the number one option. That's just pretty much a safety blanket.
So it's just throw to Kelsey. That's how it's been all season. Just throw to Kelsey.
Like, I'm going to take the Birds.
Have nobody else
in a revenge game. I would say a Super Bowl revenge game.
How I would do this? I would double cover Kelsey.
Yeah,
double cover Kelsey. Get rid of Kelsey. Take him out of make him a complete non-factor.
Oh yeah,
and then the receiving core, and then the rest of the receiving core can't catch, so they can just do their thing there. But double cover Kelsey, and yeah, they should be able to beat the Chiefs because yes, they did lose to the Broncos.
Yeah, literally got blown. Literally, I hate the Chiefs.
Blown out by the Broncos. Blown out by the freaking Broncos.
How?
2 weeks ago. 2 weeks ago. They got blown out by the freaking Broncos. What?
I had like a WTF look on my face. Like, am I reading this right? Are the Chiefs literally playing down to the lonely Broncos?
I was watching, dude. I was watching Red Zone, and I saw that, and I'm like, "What the hell?"
I was like, "What is this?" And yeah,
they're getting blown out by the freaking Broncos.
But that's pretty much our Week 11 picks and predictions because obviously it's overall the side of the teams this week. We got a couple more things we're going to go over before we get out of here. In particular, we're going to talk about Tyrese Maxey, who I've been impressed, quite honestly. Year after year, this kid just puts the work in. He just puts his head to.
And there was a thing that I saw. There was a presser with Embiid, and he was like, "Dude, it could be 7 in the damn morning, and Max is coming to practice with a smile on his face."
Yeah,
like that's great. That's a great mentality to have. Not just going, "Oh, I'm tired. I don't feel like practicing."
Well, that's the nurse effect.
Let's get to work with a smile on his face. Like he's ready to put in that work, put in that time and that effort to be a good NBA player.
And the fact that he has dropped 50 against the. So right now, I think he's like averaging slightly over 27 a game. And, we're seeing what this kid can be. And definitely, I'm pretty sure he's definitely going to be definitely earning an all-star nod sooner rather than later. I do think Embiid and Maxey do make one of the best duos, not just in the East, but also just in the NBA general. Because I
don't think he's the best. I don't think that dude is the best in the NBA. Not yet. Not until Embiid wakes up in the playoffs.
I'm talking about regular season wise, not playoffs.
No, I'm not. I'm still not gonna say they're the best duo in the NBA until Embiid wakes up in the playoffs.
But yeah, like I said, we don't want to talk much more on Maxey because, like the eye test says for itself. Now, going on to college football, like I said, there's really not much to go on college football, but there's a lot of things I want to go over. James Franklin decides, and I think this kind of really flew under the radar for me. Back in 2021, he signs another 10-year deal that runs to 2031. Are you fucking serious? I don't know whenever that. I know I made a video about that, but probably last year, whatever it was.
Dude, I remember you made a video on the shit. You were pissed.
Like I said, I'm not, and I don't like Penn State. That's just never my team. But they're going to be another 10-2 team that's never going to see, that's going to have a bowl appearance, but that's all they're going to get. That's what Penn State all it is from the eye test. Whether it had some top prospects, look, even if they had Saquon and Miles Sanders a couple of years, they were still a bowl team under James Franklin. And that's the thing. That's the one thing will always, because they're stuck in their own ways. They cannot.
I mean, that's like here's the thing. You can their schedule is usually padded with bad teams too. That's how they get
with occasional stop with either with Michigan or Ohio State. Which, by the way, James is 0-4
and every single time. The reason why they go 10-2, the two losses, Ohio State and Michigan.
And and speaking with Michigan, they didn't even have fucking Jim Harbaugh, and they still fucking lost.
They didn't have Jim Harbaugh. They lost.
J.J. McCarthy didn't even throw for over 100 yards. He threw for 60 yards and still beat them.
Yeah, you can't. And I think it was like one of those opportunities. They were leading. I think they were like 8-0 at one point, and one of the games was for the Big East Championship.
Yeah,
and they lost. I'm like, are you serious?
And yes, that's true, Steve. Michigan and Ohio State will always be in the way in Penn State. And going to James Franco, he is 0-4 against, and is so far against Michigan and Ohio State combined the last couple of years. Has never had anything, but anybody else.
But that's only just the 4 years. But you know his overall record with between Michigan and Ohio State is.
It's not great. I can tell you that much.
They're 2-8. They're 2-8 against these teams. 2-8. 2-8 in his tenure. 2-8. When they had that shitty ass coach that was before Bill O'Brien and James Franklin. Remember, Bill O'Brien was there and they still couldn't do shit. For years before that, they were seen as like the prestige team in the Big Ten.
Oh yeah,
they're not even that. They're not even that anymore. They're just okay.
Like Wisconsin sometimes, but Wisconsin has not been that good the last couple of years. And
Wisconsin, they beaten Wisconsin up.
That's the funny thing too. Penn State always beats them with the crappy teams, but when it comes to Michigan and Ohio State, they just seem to disappear for whatever reason.
They can beat teams, dude. They can beat teams like Michigan State, Wisconsin, all these other low-level Big Ten schools. They can beat them. But when it comes to Michigan and Ohio State, they can't beat them. They can't do it. And you can say, "Oh, Harbaugh probably cheated in that game." Yeah, you can say that, but.
Or you can look at the talent difference between with Ohio State and Michigan compared to Penn State. It's not even close.
Oh my God. Like, dude, James Franklin as a recruiter, he only gets okay guys. He doesn't get the greatest guys. He gets the
that's another thing too. The O-line still stinks, and Drew Aller is absolutely hot trash.
Oh my God, the quarterback.
Years old, and he sucked.
Dude. Dude, I don't understand this team's, and I'm not even a fan of them.
The Penn State not wanting to change for,
and the fact that I thought they got snubbed in like 2015 or 16 makes me laugh.
I think Saquon was their number one back.
Saquon was still their number one back.
He had Miles Sanders at number 2, but then he also
Miles Sanders at 2. Yeah, Miles Sanders at 2.
I can't think of the quarterback, but they had some solid QB play at that point.
They had fucking Christian Hackenberg.
And we all know how he panned out in the NFL. Not great.
Oh, he came to Philly and he sucked.
I forgot about that. Well, rightfully so.
Yeah, he came to Philly. Didn't even make the 52-man roster. He got cut in preseason because he sucked.
Well, thank God for that. But yeah, I don't think Penn State's going to ever see.
Dude, they were like 8-0 or some. I'm like, God, they were literally 10-2. They should have made the playoff because they had just got snuck. They were just outside at 5.
Trust me, Midstar were kind of frustrated that this team had a really good season, and I don't know. I think,
but then that was before we kind of like, all right, you can't like how I get like, okay, if you lose 2 games, you're susceptible to being out of the playoffs, not in. That's why when we were annoyed last year when our Clemson Tigers lost 2 games,
and this year too,
because it was like this year too they lost 2 games, which they've been already out of the playoffs.
Which
anyway.
we'll talk about the Clemson in just a second. But yeah, Steve, I definitely could see that's a matchup that everyone wants to see.
Yeah, I see Michigan versus Georgia, but the thing is, they're not gonna have Harbaugh because Harbaugh is suspended for the entire season.
For the entire regular season, but not the they didn't say it's not the playoffs. So, but
if it's for the entire regular season, like yeah, but I don't know if they'll allow him to coach in the playoff.
But obviously, but moving on, last and final thought is the Clemson Tigers. Obviously, frustrating as hell. Like I said,
dude, I was done. Dude, hold on, can't even speak.
God bless you.
Again, I go to speak and I go to sneeze. Like what the fuck?
But
anyway,
just like how to describe our Clemson Tigers? Frustrating.
No, hold on. Let me. I was already done when they lost to Duke.
Yeah,
week 1. I was done. I'm like, screw this season. This season's a wash.
Yeah, and of course Dante of all people had to laugh at our pain for whatever reason. No one.
I'm not even gonna lie to you. I was pissed because you can't map that out any worse. You get into the red zone. You get into the red zone and you're making mindless turnovers in the red zone all 4 times.
Phil Moffitt is one of them.
Moffitt, the quarterback,
from 25 yards out. How do you shake it from 25 yards out?
A freaking kicker twice.
Oh God!
Klubnik, he threw like a pick in the red zone. I'm like, mother.
And don't get me started on Dabo, because boy, dude's an okay recruiter.
Again, we've already said this before. Man.
There's just problems.
He needed to use the transfer portal, and he didn't do it.
He's the only coach
never done it.
That does not implement the transfer portal.
I like to do it the old school way. Sometimes the old school way doesn't work. You do this.
Why do you think Duke has an improvement season?
And also,
transfer portal.
Exactly.
Florida,
and also another thing too.
Even though I can't.
Yeah. We get it. All the other teams, but another thing I want to talk about with freaking Dabo Sweeney, him throwing a fucking hissy fit.
Oh yeah, when
over constructive criticism on a sports talk radio show,
which was absolutely true. Because
I was like, oh my god, now he's throwing freaking hissy fits.
Oh yeah, it was just
he's like the best thing ever. Like, come on. Not only are you embarrassing yourself, you're embarrassing the freaking program.
Oh, and quite honestly, this program could have been a dynasty had, you know.
I mean, they are kind of a dynasty. They won 2 championships in the span of like 5 years. But like, dude.
Yeah. But it would be nice to see more. But as we said, Dabo's shown his own way of not using the transfer portal, and I think that's what is really setting this team back on what they can be. Because I mean, look at because that's where we are in college football. Everyone implements the transfer portal, to get better, to improve their rosters. Dabo, on the other hand, that old school way of thinking is not going to work, and
now. They've become literally Penn State.
They might not even see a bowl game. If that's the case,
they might not even see a bowl game because I think they're 4-4, 4 and 5, or
4. I think it's 6 wins to get into a bowl game.
They're 5-4. They might sneak into a bowl game. That's not saying much. Sneaking into a bowl game, come on.
Now you got to take on a 2-7 South. Are they 2-7?
I think they're 2-7 this year.
And
Clemson's lucky that this is a big rivalry game that me and Rob like to watch every year.
The last couple, last. First of all, I didn't even watch last year because I called a mercy rule. I wasn't streaming it, but they laid a humongous egg last year. You made Spencer Rattler look like fucking Tom Brady throwing over 400 yards and 4 touchdowns on your asses last year. Now, yes, and Spencer Rattler
Now, do you want to stream that or do you not want to stream that?
I don't, quite honestly.
Okay, good. Okay, because dude, after last year, you guys completely
the only good game I'm
bed against them.
The only good game I'm streaming in terms of college football is Michigan and Ohio State on this channel.
Yeah, I think you should just do Michigan, Ohio State, and see if they're that game.
Because right now,
Florida State has a chance. Florida State does have a chance.
It's just I really can't put. If I was a betting man, I would already put money on Florida State because you seen. Look, I pointed out the fact that their losses, they're barely, even some of their wins they're barely coming out with wins. Like
that's usually also a key factor in the NCAA taking out teams and putting teams in. They look at like how good their wins are too. Like not just the amount of losses. If you have 2 losses, you're an automatic out from the playoff. But they look at like how substantial your wins are. You have good wins.
So South Carolina's 4-6. They're 2-5 in conference play.
They're out of the playoff too. 2-5 in conference play. Jesus.
Yeah, so
literally both teams have nothing to play for now. This should be a good game.
This is a meaningless game, basically.
This is meaningless. It's completely meaningless. Completely.
They actually get to see a bowl game. That's all they're going to see.
I don't even know if they're going to see a bowl game. They're 5-4. They usually give bowl games to at least competent teams. They're barely even competent.
So, I mean, you never know. And again, we seen worse happen. But like I said, and that's the thing too. We're looking at because and going back to my thing on Florida State, I like the QB Jordan Travis, but it's just for me some of the and the reason why, like I said, going back to what I said about their scraping out wins, like Woodward, they scraped out against us after we had a blunder in overtime. We could have an opportunity to walk off on Florida State, but no, we had to give them the fucking win on the worst. What was it? On a walk-off pick 6?
That was another bad game. I was annoyed watching that game. I'm like, yeah, they're definitely out of playoff. You can't beat Florida State. Come on.
And Florida State's not even that great on paper.
It's not just on paper. It's like they're eking out wins left and right. They're not just winning like convincingly. They're eking out wins. It's like you're like, dude, you could have easily won against Florida State and you lost. Walk-off pick 6. This is why I said week 1. Gabe Klubnik sucked. Klubnik ain't that dude. He ain't that dude. DJ somehow excellent.
Yeah,
which pissed me off.
Well, and I think I really never thought about that, but also I think it also stems from coaching. I think coaching sometimes can be
coaching's an issue. He doesn't know how to. That's another issue that I'm starting to catch on with. Dabo Swinney cannot coach quarterbacks. He can't.
He really can't. Look at what DJ. Well, I think there was one game where I think DJ almost had 400 yards in one game with the Oregon State Beavers. Like, are you fucking shitting me?
And also another issue that I have, Rob. Another issue that I have. Why the hell did they sign the offensive coordinator from TCU to Clemson? Knowing damn well in the damn national championship the previous year, he got blown the hell out. Offense didn't do nothing.
I regret doing that game anyways. I regret doing that game.
Dude, we mercy rolled that game. We mercy rolled the shit out of that game. I'm like, yeah.
And quite not just the offense coordinator, but I think ever since Brett Venables, who was our previous defensive coordinator in those championship years, once he took that job with Oklahoma, I think our defense was going to take it, and you saw it at times. That defense did not want to show up.
So trash. The defense. Now week 1 they were good. The defense was good week 1, but then after that, oh my god.
Yeah, I mean Jeremiah Trotter Jr. is a solid line. They got some solid pieces, but that defense just was not that impressive this year. which sucks because I've liked Jeremiah Trotter Jr. because his dad was a fucking tank with us.
Yeah, he was with the Eagles. Go Birds.
But
and also, you know who else was with Clemson and the Birds? B-Dawk.
Well, yeah, I forgot Chalkers was. I never knew that he was like a Clemson alumni.
B-Dawk
never knew
with
that.
Clemson, bro. B-Dawk was with Clemson.
That's news to me. But but outside of that, it sucks being a Clemson fan at times. We saw some of the good years, and now we're seeing some of the most. The last couple of years has been frustrating.
We've seen some bad, even dude. Even in the 2000s, they weren't even this frustrating to watch.
Yeah, which is not saying much.
Now it's like Jesus Christ. You have a coach who's a big freaking baby because a fan called into a damn radio station criticizing his coaching,
and rightfully so because his coach. You can see it from the eye test. His coaching stinks. But do I think Dabo's going to get fired? Probably not, but I do think at some point the Clemson's going to have to put him on the hot seat at some point.
Bro. Dude, I don't care. This has been 2 years of this bullshit. Fire him now.
Ship him and the OC out of here.
Get the OC out of here. Get him out of here. Get a new damn coach here.
It really does suck though, man. Because you have I think I like Phil Moffa. Look, Phil Moffa's solid number 2, but he's more of a bruiser back. Will Shipley, it sucks for Will Shipley, who's got to do everything for this damn Clemson offense because the rest of the offense is so incompetent. Now, yes, the only downside of that because he did miss a couple of games due to concussion protocol, and and Moffa actually did help pick up the slack offensively, but. We have both Moffa and Will Shipley carrying the load offensively, then you got a problem. But then again, that's kind of proving our point. That's going back to what we said earlier. Dabo doesn't want to institute the transfer portal and get solid wide receiver talent to help this roster. And hell, grab a quarterback while you're freaking at it.
Yeah, grab a damn quarterback because Gabe Klubnik ain't the guy.
And we're seeing what DJ can be under good coaching with the Oregon State Beavers. Make it make sense, Clemson.
Fucking Oregon State. He's good for fucking Oregon State.
Probably one of the best. Let's bring up one of the other best conferences in football, in college football, in the Pac-12. Or what's it? The big. Is it Big 12? Pac-12. Pac-12.
It's Pac. Oregon State, because Oregon's in that same conference. It's Pac-12.
And to Clemson. Make it make sense with just please make it make sense to us because you had as much as we give a lot of criticism to Penn State even though they're in the Big Ten, I say just start chanting fire Dabo, have the fire Dabo.
Get rid of Dabo right now. Honestly, all I've got to say is get rid of Dabo. Get rid of Dabo right now because he is trash.
Very. He's a dumpster fire within a dumpster fire is how we describe it. Yeah. But all in all,
and Clemson's in that. Clemson is in that freaking burning dumpster fire. I'm telling you that right now.
Joining Penn State in that mess, even though this
joining Penn State. Penn State's in there too. But honestly, this team, man, this team pisses me off, and this is why I literally haven't watched since I got pissed off. And I had that epic rant on proportions.
And yeah, you had Dante 11. I was
Dante's practically on the damn floor laughing his ass off at us.
Yeah.
It was funny as hell. We just now looking I watched that stream back and I'm like and I just laugh because it's funny as shit now. But Clemson fans should know my pain.
Than what Dabo's
should know our pain. We deserve better. We deserve better for sure.
Us and Penn State fans deserve a lot better because we are doing the crappy coaching. Because Dabo, I think his time should have been up. Even though I know it, because I know earlier, I know Tyler had taught me to comment this. It's give it, let's wait. But now the way how this team has really performed. now Tyler sees the real truth of that.
Now I'm like, it's over. It's over. Throw the pink slip at his freaking head.
Him and Garrett Riley. First of all, why would you bring an OC that got the Rascals blown out in the national title game? Make it make sense.
That's what I said, my bro. That's what I said. Like, even when they hired him and that announcement was made that they hired him, I'm like, why?
Like, fuck.
Why him?
Like, you had other options to go to. Now, like I said, me and Tyler we're not diehard college football heads. We're just the casuals that watch it every Saturday when we get the chance.
I barely even watch, dude. I barely even watch my own team anymore. Like, geez.
But then again, that should tell you like how crappy Clemson has been this entire year. But like I said, we're not going to rant on 2-1 because I mean, look, we got our grievances out with them. But with all that being said, this is going to wrap up episode 7 of the All-Star Sports Show. If you guys new, definitely smash that like button, hit that subscribe button, ring that notification bell. And with that being said, we are out.
Peace.